This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction to every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Johnny10Shields. And a wild one, to say the least, a sloppy but entertaining game from your beloved Tampa Bay Rays here tonight. There is a lot to break down. This was really a story of two games, in my opinion, but we're going to talk about some news even before the game started with this lineup that got released. I never would have guessed this lineup. We're going to break that down. Rasmussen got chased early, which wasn't great. The offense was really good. I say really good. Anything against what it was last time against Garrett Crochet would have been a massive success. So the offense showed a lot of fight against Crochet. But the thing we got to start with, and we're also going to look ahead, is the bullpen collapsing late.
This is what you'll be talking about.
So the Clevenger 2-run home run, he has more leeway than any bullpen arm in there. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. Whatever happens, you're not going to give up no runs for the entire second half like he was on pace to do. But that let me read you what the Rays gave up in this seventh inning when the Boston Red Sox, or in the eighth inning, when the Red Sox scored 7 runs, as many of the Rays end up having for the whole game. The Rays in the seventh inning gave up 7 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors, and that does not include a walk, 2 walks, and a hit by pitch. It wasn't just the pitching; it was the sloppiness of the errors, and of course, it's the free passes. You give up 3 free passes in the inning against a good team like Boston. What do you think is going to happen? And exactly what the Rays feared, ending up coming to fruition. So we'll get to our turning point with that.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
It was a rough opening game, MLB debut for Cole Wilcox, who the Rays picked up the other day. His ERA is at 27, which is pretty rough. He ended up going a full inning. He came in and got the last out from Clevenger, then pitched for 2/3 in that 8th inning. 4 hits, 7 runs, only 3 of them earned, 3 walks, and a strikeout. He had more walks than any of the Rays other pitchers combined. It is a bad recipe in today's game more than ever to walk players, especially with the talent that every single team has. And we saw it with, the Rays taking advantage of Garrett Crochet. Like Garrett Crochet had 3 walks, and that extended his pitch count. And the Rays were able to take advantage of that to an extent, right? In the first inning with Morel drawing a walk, that moving Yandy up 1, boom, Fortes gets a single and the Rays lead. So it's almost always going to happen when you give up walks, hit by pitches, any of those free passes or throw errors into there. It's bound to happen. So I love that we're getting an extended look at Tristan Gray. He is not a third baseman, man. He has struggled at third. He hit another error today, and I think he's more of a second baseman than third baseman. He just doesn't look comfortable over there. But regardless, he had another he got on base another time today. But Griffin Jacks, we're looking at positives, continues to be really good for the Rays. But you kind of saw a little bit of that desperation that Boston had to play with, because Cleveland's going to win tonight. If Boston were to lose that game, they're only a half a game up on a playoff spot, which is kind of crazy. But as Gary alluded to a few days ago, Cleveland is knocking on the doorstep of taking down the Tigers in the Central, which is incredible. They're 2.5. They're about to be officially, I believe, is 2.5 games back there. Yeah, which is incredible. Minus 23 run differential going into this game, and they're about to win their 8th in a row. Just incredible. That's beyond belief. And I'm telling you, that 4-game series against the Guardians and the Rays earlier this year was something that we kind of circled and as a launching point, and it's launched Cleveland, and they still play another series. That's awesome, man. Nothing like the chase of the playoffs, and that's why it sucks extra that the Rays aren't in it, unfortunately. But let's talk about Drew Rasmussen. He got chased early, and it was a long at-bats from Boston pitchers. 76 pitches in 3 innings is an outlier for Drew Rasmussen. We have not seen him do that really at all this year. So all of us Rays fans should be thrilled with Drew Rasmussen this year. He's going to end up surpassing his career high in innings. He's going to make 30 starts this year. And if you had told me that in the offseason, he's going to make 30 starts, pitch over 150 innings, and have a sub-3 ERA, I'm jumping up and down for joy with that news. So all good news on Drew Rasmussen front. But because he got chased early, Cole Solso had to come in. And there might not be a bigger Cole Sulser fan outside of his parents than me. I am a huge Cole Sulser fan, man. He just goes out there and does his job. 2 innings, a hit, a walk, and no runs allowed. His ERA is down to 2.25. He's only allowed 1 run in his last, wow, this is a lot of innings. Over 11 innings. If you go back to before he was got called down. So yeah, crazy to say the least. So but yeah, I mean, Griffin Jax continues to impress. Again, we've talked about him potentially moving the rotation. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know in this day and age. And then obviously Wilcox struggling, and there's already a question related to this in the comments I saw. So we're going to go to from Charlie Smith. He says, "What do you think made them keep Wilcox out there at the point of return? Kind of ruined any chance to come back, even the great 9th inning." It's because the Rays know where they're at in the season. They're not going to make the playoffs. So yes, did it cost the Rays a chance to win this game? Yes. Is Kevin Cash going to lose any sleep over that decision? No. You pick up this guy off the street, you have to see what he's made of. You have to give him some extended leash. So that's the only reason why. If this was the Rays a half game out from a playoff spot, Cole Wilcox would not have even sniffed the field at Steinbrenner Field tonight. So that's why I think they'd let him go a little bit there. So obviously disappointing for him, but my opinion of the Rays doesn't change a whole lot. That Yandy Diaz is still the most unappreciated hitter in the entire major leagues, with him collecting his 100th career home run. So shout out to Yandy. Obviously, Carson Williams going deep. Bob Seymour it got 3 strikeouts and then singled. So it's just a funny thing there. But we'll talk about the Rays' new look lineup, as well as we will break down how this offense performed against Garrett Crochet right after this. This episode is brought to you by Zippix toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zippix can be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. Available in 6 great flavors with 2 milligram and 3 milligram nicotine options. And you can, and if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. So again, if you guys still don't smoke, like for example, I don't smoke, I don't do anything associated with nicotine, but they have the caffeine variety. So even you can still get that boost without having to trying to win off smoking, or you're trying to get the nicotine boost, still have the opportunity with the caffeine variety, especially with flavors like peppermint, watermelon, and stuff like that. Really a lot of variety. So go to zippixtoothpicks.com, use code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. It must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's zippixtoothpicks.com, promo code LOCKEDON. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix toothpicks. This episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right calls can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. I've been playing Prize Picks lately. It's such a fun way to stay locked in on any season, whether it's football, baseball, basketball. It's the best. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. And lastly, this episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5 Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot pack is from the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee. 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutritions with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere, and you help you get the boost that you need. I always use my favorite flavor, and they have over 17 to choose from. Because it's refreshing, always gives me the quick lift before a busy day. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Get your favorites you love, or be bold and try something new in store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. So if you guys are in the live, please make sure to leave a like and comment. A lot of comments in. We'll be getting to them momentarily. But Let me read you out this Rays lineup. Everson Pereira, I guarantee you, has not hit leadoff in his major league debut or major leagues in the major leagues. And I can't tell you the last time he hit leadoff, maybe even in the minors. So, yeah, why not throw him in there in the leadoff spot today? And the Yandy Diaz second, normal. Chris Morel, third. We've seen that before, normal. Josh Lowe, fourth against a lefty. Puzzling to say the least. And he went 0 for 5. So he continues to, he struck out twice against lefties today. So now he has like 36 strikeouts to 18 hits against lefties this season. Nick Fortes, fifth against lefty, makes sense. Tristan Gray, Richie Palacios, 6-7 in the lineup against the lefty. Interesting. Carson Williams, eighth. He hits lefties really well. He looks really comfortable against lefties, and Bob Seymour, ninth. So having 5 lefties, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lefties against Garrett Crochet, and I'm actually gonna look at Garrett Crochet's splits right now against lefties. So I just love at this point in the season that and Garrett Crochet is much better. Righties are much better against Garrett Crochet than lefties are. But I just love at this point of the season that Kevin Cash is trying new things, right? Is Everson Pereira going to be on this team next year? Let's bat him leadoff against the second best pitcher in the American League and find out. What is Tristan Gray going to be that Taylor Walls role next year? Let's hit him 6 against, again, the second best pitcher in the American League and really find out. So that's what I love. And, they were productive against Garrett Crochet. We talked about Drew Rasmussen battling. It wasn't to that extent, but, in the first inning, the Rays get the Rays Yandy doubles. We get a walk and then a single. That's 3 base runners, right? Made Garrett Crochet through a lot of pitches. In the second inning, you get the Carson Williams home run. And boom, it's 2-1. In the third inning, you get the Yandy Diaz home run and then a Morel walk. And then from there, it was pretty much shut down from there from Garrett Crochet. But from how much Garrett Crochet dominated last start for the Rays to get this kind of production, you take that every single day. When you're telling me you score 3 runs against Garrett Crochet over 6 innings, you take that because that's the caliber of arm that he is. But let's get to the comments. We're going to start with Gary. He says, the final score is made more respectable by Pereira's 9th inning grand slam. Yeah, how fun was that 9th inning? The Rays had the tying run in the on-deck circle, did a lot of their damage with 2 outs. Everson Pereira hits a little grand slam. Yeah, but anyway, it says, ultimately, this one's on the pen. They had a lead but cannot hold it. How many times this happened in July and August? A lot of times in July and August. But like I responded to the comment earlier, this one is a little bit of an outlier than those. I mean, the Rays are going to look back on this season and they're really going to have about 10 games that they're going to look at. It's like, wow, like we should have won those games. And I still think this Rays team is good enough to be a playoff team. Obviously, they're not going to be one, and they obviously ended up not being good enough to be a playoff team. But the Rays, more than any other team that's not going to make the playoffs, had these games where you're like, wow, that they probably should have won about 10 more games than they should have, and their expected win-loss reflects that. And Gary, another great comment. Congrats to Dwayne Stats, 50 years in broadcasting. This man's a legend. He's been the Broadcasters Wing in Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. I 100% agree. As someone that wants to be in that broadcast world and, as kind of already is with this postcast that we do, is Dwayne Stats is beyond a legend. He has fueled my childhood now into adulthood, and he is just iconic in so many ways. I cannot imagine another guy being on the TV for Rays baseball. I know Andy Fried has, and I love Andy Fried. So don't get me wrong, I'm a big Andy Fried guy, but Dwayne Stats, whoever replaces him will probably end up being Andy Fried once a time, is going to have massive shoes to fill. It's like replacing Tom Brady in New England, right? Cam Newton / Mac Jones didn't have a chance to fill those shoes. It's going to be whoever the same for whoever takes over Dwayne when he ends up leaving. As we have Jack's takes, he says, well, they made it interesting in the 9th, but disastrous 7th and 8th were about as bad as the fielding got this season. Eliminated in flames. Yeah. Are the Rays officially eliminated? I think they had to lose one more game, maybe because Boston won. I don't know the exact number on that yet. If someone could let me know, but it doesn't change anything. The Rays are not making the playoffs, obviously, but yeah, it's stuff that we haven't seen a ton of this year from the Rays, and they are officially eliminated. Wow, tiny violins for the Rays, but yeah, they are officially eliminated. But yeah, it is tough. As we go to Gary, says last Rays home game at Steinbrenner. What is your Rays home highlight? Mine are Cam Mizer's open day walk-off and the 4/19 comeback against the Yankees. Yeah, the first postcast and Randy's return. Obviously the first postcast is always going to be a special moment in my heart because I love the Rays and I love talking about it every single day with you guys. So yeah, that one is always in a different tier. But my favorite moment this year outside of that, Brandon Lau's game time home run against Bautista and the Orioles when the Rays came all the way back to tie the game. what is it, like 8-0, 8-1 after Taj Bradley's implosion. And Brandon Lowe was pinch hit for Curtis Mead in that one moment to literally do one thing, to hit a home run to tie the game. And he just demolished one. And in that moment, you knew the Rays were coming back. They were coming. And Brandon Lowe just demolishes one. And yeah, I'll never forget. That was about as hype as I've been watching a regular season Rays game in a long time, man. So that one's the one that sticks out to me. And then if we're just doing games at Steinberger. Another reason why I'll never forget Junior's grand slam in Toronto. That was another awesome one. Griffin Jack striking out the bases loaded in Anaheim. That was awesome. As for some away ones as well. But that's a great question, Gary. Let me know your guys' favorite moments so far. So yeah, those two, the Aranda home run obviously was special because it was the first postcast, but Brandon Lowe's game tying homer against Baltimore, because that's when the Rays were rolling, man. That was like peak Rays baseball this season. Take me back to those times. As we go to Gary again, since the Guardians play the Tigers in Cleveland Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The Tigers finish up in Boston next weekend. Sounds crazy to say this, but they may be playing for their playoff lives. I've been on record saying I wasn't high on the Tigers 2 months ago. So this isn't really surprising. No one in their lineup strikes fear into me, to be completely honest with you, outside Riley Green in the first series in Tampa. But what makes them so good is that in a 5-game series, you're going to get Skubal for 2 games if it goes 5. And you're probably winning those 2 games 70 to 75% of the time. So that's what makes the Tigers dangerous. But it doesn't matter in the regular season when Skubal only has 1, maybe 2 starts left. So yeah, that's going to be fascinating to see. Charlie Smith with some nice words. I appreciate that. Charlie, I appreciate you always being in here. As we go to Douglas, he says, Wilcox rush first out. And you feel for the guy, you always feel for those guys, for sure. As we go to Tio, he says, I think we're 11, maybe just 9 games above 500 this year. I think it got to 11. Yeah, and then if you guys remember, I said during the postcast, enjoyed this moment, right? Even when I said when they won 7 in a row, enjoyed this. Because baseball is so fleeting. And next year, I've already thought about this. I'm not going to try to overreact too much to what happens and really until September, unless the Rays are obviously super good. But we've seen in 3 weeks multiple times this year how everything changes, right? The Rays were in the first wild card, and all of a sudden they're 7.5 games back. And then they're 2 games back, and they're right back into it. And then all of a sudden they're out of it again, right? All in a span of a month. Those separate instances. So baseball is the ultimate grind in professional sports, and there is nothing like it, man. And we have 8 games left, which is just crazy to say because it's been a magical first year of the postcast. And there's no other team I'd want to cover, no other community I want to cover it for. So I appreciate all you guys for joining. I'll be right back here tomorrow night recapping hopefully a Rays win as they try to finish out strong at home. Make sure you guys leave a like and comment before you guys get out here. As Mike H just got in here, he says, I just got here. What happened today? Well, the Rays had the lead, and then bullpen imploded, specifically new guy Cole Wilcox, and the Rays hit a grand slam in the 9th, which was fun. And Dwayne Stats celebrated his 50th year in broadcasting. Just incredible. So that's about a 15-second synopsis of the game, as the Rays will try to end the last homestand on a winning side by winning the last 2 games of the series against the Red Sox. So again, there's 15 people in here right now as we exit. I better see at least 15 likes on this live when I go back to edit it. So I appreciate all you guys watching. Again, only 8 more of these. Cherish everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night.